Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Mayroong nag-post ng isang meme sa social media kung saan pinapakita ng meme na ito na peaceful daw ang Pilipinas kung tatanggalin ng Luzon. Sa kabanatang ito, masdan po natin ang reaksyon ng ating mga kapwa Pinoy sa Reddit ukol sa meme na ito. I am not from the Philippines. Can someone explain this to me please? The centralized government of the country is situated in Luzon. So, the regions of Visayas and Mindanao blame the island for monopolizing the development. It's just a meme by someone from Visayas or Mindanao basically erasing Luzon from the Philippines. Some people from Luzon look down on people from Visayas and Mindanao. This was probably made by someone who got triggered. A lot of people in this thread are unaware about that though. They think Luzon gets hate for no reason and Visayas or Mindanao are stupid to even think about this kind of things. These are hurt Visayas or Mindanao people making these. They forgot Palawan is part of Luzon. Iniwan nila yung buong Mimaropa. What? Mimaropa starts questioning its existence. Cries in Bicol. As someone from Mimaropa, should I feel insulted? Haha. Kailangan nila yung beaches niyo kaya hindi tinanggal. Sa China na daw kasi yon. Pati sa paggawa ng meme, di sila marunong ng basic geography. And Bicol too. Bicol, to many Luzon people, is like an extension of Eastern Visayas. Yeah, Bisacol is really a thing. Bisacol is spoken mainly in Masbate province, maybe due to its proximity to Visayas, but in the majority of the areas in Bicol, Bicol Naga and Bicol Legazpi is spoken. I can confirm that. I am Sorsoganon through and through, and I have no idea what the people from Albay upwards are saying 90% of the time. I had Bisaya co-workers. Surprisingly, I could understand the gist of their conversations. I will never understand this hatred of squatters and mocking of Manila or Luzon. They're people too. As for their origin, galing sa malalayong probinsya mga squatter na nilalait nila, one of their own. Did they not know this? And can we talk about how most of the Philippines' GDP comes from Luzon, mainly Manila? Visayas' contribution is at a mere 6.5%. I don't want to bring this up but juice me. Sige, tanggalin nyo na kaming nasa Luzon. Bahala kayo sa buhay nyo. Tingnan natin kung saan kayo mapupunta pag wala Luzon. I also don't understand the Manileños' hate for Visayans, calling them taga-probinsya and katulong at nurse lang and using it as a derogatory term. Also, their hate for Mindanaoans calling Mindanao PUBG or bahay ng NPA at terorista, the hate of all sides is unfounded. It's very stupid, but it is what it is. So, instead of using your knowledge to fuel the flame, why don't you just advocate to stop the hate? You're becoming no better than any of them. Ha? Wala akong kilalang taga-Luzon na nagsambit niyan kahit kailan. Katulong at nurse lang? Wala bang taga-Luzon na nurse o katulong? Bringing up the GDP is relevant to this discussion dahil sobra na ang tawag sa mga Luzon. Samantalang, sobra na nga na budget binibigay sa kanila. Majority pa nga sa Mindanao. Then it's time to clean and put down your rose-tinted glasses because wherever you see Luzonian hate, there lies Visayan and Mindanaoan hate. Maybe you see those all the time but don't register it as hate, which would say a lot about you. Even here in Reddit, it's very, very rampant. Even in this comment section here, I seethe seeing posts like this here because I end up finding all of those tribalist losers which I'm fighting hard to avoid. Go to FB and go inside online rambulan groups. The main banats are Walang Tubig sa Luzon, GTA 6 Luzon, Hogwarts Visayas, Katulong lang namin mga Bisaya, PUBG Mindanao, NPA Recruitment Center. Dude, you have a valid point, but I believe your whole argument and anger is misdirected. He hasn't once called anyone from Visayas or Mindanao taga-probinsya explicitly and in a derogatory manner. He says much of the people who often get associated as squatter are people who travel from faraway provinces to Central Luzon or Manila in the belief of a better life, which isn't entirely inaccurate, nor is the statement one of their own, as provinces in Mindanao and Visayas are far from Central Luzon or Manila. Also, to support yours and their point, a big chunk of the Manila workforce typically comes from the provinces, so there's really no point in arguing over this. Lastly, we need to let go of the hate regarding taga-probinsya or galing sa malayong probinsya because even NCR is technically a province. Kung pumunta ako sa ibang probinsya at galing Maynila ako, taga-probinsya pa rin ako. In this effect, I also find it equally silly that it's used in such a derogatory manner. I get your opinion, but it hardly has anything to do with the post. Also, I live in Luzon, but part of my family is from Mindanao and we hardly hear this. You have hastily generalized the rest of your fellow men. It's because all of this toxicity exists in cesspools such as Facebook groups. Literally, the post comes from a Facebook post. This is not my opinion but a legitimate fact. If you haven't heard of this, then you're not looking at the right places. I've never heard any of these toxicity in real life either. My family often visits Manila every summer, and I only ever experienced this toxicity in Facebook, TikTok, and Reddit. I didn't hastily generalize anyone. What am I supposed to call those people then? They're Luzonians, Visayans, and Mindanaoans. They're the loud minority that carries the image of their respective regions. Literally, just check the comment section of this post and you'll see Bisaya hate and Mindanaoan hate. The best irony of ironies about the admin supporters decrying Imperial Manila and Luzon's alleged tendency to be reclamador is that a lot of people from Region 3, Region 4A, and especially NCR voted for Duterte. May nakita akong chart somewhere, di ko sure kung legit, na nag-show na majority ng voters sa Visayas voted for Rojas. Sa Mindanao at mga OFW lang ang madaming bumoto kay Digong. If someone can find this, I'd be grateful. Here's a map that shows a trend in the 2016 elections. Duterte, Mindanao, NCR Plus, and Ilocos Norte. A lot of my Ilocanos in NCR because of migration. Rojas, Visayas, and Mimaropa. Po, Central Luzon. Binay, Northern Luzon, except Ilocos Norte, obviously. Here's Lenny's path to victory. Keep the stronghold of 2016 Rojas in Visayas and Mimaropa. Let Isko and Marcos split the vote in NCR+. Try to win over the stronghold of 2016 Binay and Po. Binay is likely given he is under her senatorial slate and Po is kinda progressive in some sense. The admin is scared because numbers don't lie. Edit. She doesn't even need to campaign in Mindanao. It'll be a landslide anyway if she can do everything. Sadly, I don't think Lenny has a huge chance here in Aklan, given that the popular opposition Gov candidate has declared his support for BBM. Kinda disappointing though because I was rooting for that Gov candidate. His main opponent is the son of the incumbent Gov, known to be corrupt and is losing popularity. That is indeed unfortunate, but know that the popularity or endorsements of local leaders don't always translate to votes for national positions. Example, Joe Biden won the presidency but the Republican Party swept state elections. True, I think that the Panay Island is cut into three. Antique seems to be more inclined for Isko, Aklan for BBM, while Iloilo is more progressive. I wonder what happened why Aklan and Antique seemed to go for the pro-admin, when not long ago, Antique and Aklan had been a fan of Mar Rojas. Pacquiao is a joke here in Mindanao. Sadly, malabo si Lenny dito sa amin. Luzon tas Visayas magpapapanalo kay Lenny. BBM, Mindanao. Binay got Region 2, but remember that they're also Ilocanos. Same with Post Pangasinan, where about half are also Ilocanos. Frankly, BBM will dominate all northern half of Luzon from Cavite northwards. I feel like NCR will go with Isko. If it does, there's a chance that Isko might secure the nearby provinces, Laguna, Cavite, and Rizal too. Isko will definitely get substantial votes in NCR, but based on surveys, ahead si Marcos ng 5% to 10% sa kanya sa NCR+. Remember that a lot of the population of Manila are recent migrants or have parents who were recent migrants. I hate people telling us that it's always Imperial Manila's fault, where in fact, most presidents have roots in other parts of the country and maybe a third of the population of Manila are not born here, with a lot more having had parents who were not from Manila. At the same time, maybe the other cities should improve such that the Manileño can move there, so whose fault is it? It is more likely the dynasties who rule the provinces who is the problem. Otherwise, there would be less migrants here. I live in the Visayas and I disapprove of this divisive message. Yung mga company digs just love to repeat this as if they speak for all the people in the South. I agree. As a Visayan myself who lives in Manila, we hate Duterte and the Marcoses as well. Duterte never gets enough applause when he visits our home province. Oo nga, nakakainis. They don't speak for all of the Visayan people. Pwede lang kung sila na lang ang humiwalay. Huwag na idamay ang Visayas, haha. Langya silang mga separatista. Cebuano here and I also disapprove of this. Minsan nakakasuka na yung Bisaya pride ng mga Duterte supporters. Wala namang napatunayan yung pangulo nila. Pinapahiya pa nga niya mga Bisaya eh. Ipaliwanag nyo naman guys, bakit Hogwarts sa Visayas? Madaming babaylan sa Negros, dagdag nyo pa ang Siquijor, the Witches Island, and yung mythical Biringan City ng Samar. Mga aswang sa Iloilo and Capiz, tapos shaman sa Antique and Yanggaw sa Negros. Real life Hogwarts kami dito, land of witchcraft and wizardry. The comments here kinda reek stereotype. Some educated comments and informative comments, pero most dito are trying to be edgy against Visayas and Mindanao. Kaya nga nagkakaroon ng division that affects also sa politics eh. Come on guys, be better than this. Kaya di nagkaka-unite eh. Oh? Would you prefer us Bicolanos to bend over and take their insults as they besmirch our hometown? And leap for joy every time we have a typhoon? Or get all passive-aggressive at being better at Anglaes? We was the Vikings of the Orient. Not the meme, the common sentiment ever since 2016, most shabulized, and even translates to actual gov policies as we get zilch projects whilst Salceda, through his butt-kissing to whoever is in power, got his. Calamity Fund hard to come by since we all know who the darling provinces are now. This is kind of the reason why I kind of support federalism. I say kind of because, to be honest, I'm probably not educated enough on this matter. As critics of federalism would point out how that would mean more officials that could be corrupt. Although, thinking about it, they'd probably still complain about imperialist Manila or whatever, even if federalism gives them representation. Oh well. But seriously, why do Visayans and Mindanaoans always point out an overly Tagalized Luzon? Are they saying that the non-Tagalogs of Luzon are imperialist as well? I've yet to hear a Kapampangan call out imperialist Manila. Okay, looking at the map again, they left the Bicol region and parts of the Quezon province and also Mimaropa unedited. It's just the Kingdom of Davao and the Sultanate of Cebu inciting this division. They think they're so special and that their taxes do not benefit them and Imperial Manila keeps on leeching their hard work. So be it then. Just please let the Viceroyalty of Panay and Republic of Negros be an administrative region of NCR, along with the Holy Bicol Empire. We actually know we depend on the tax the NCR sends us, and we don't blame Imperial Manila for our stupid choices for local politicians. Mas malaki pa nga ang potential ng Iloilo at Bacolod sa development kasi mas maraming patag at hindi mabundok. Pero ang kapalit ng industrialization ay hihina ang agriculture. Lumaki kasi ulo ng Cebu nung tinubuan ng high-rise buildings at infrastructure. Yung mga nag-invest nun galing rin namang NCR. Pagkatapos pagandahin at i-develop, biglang inaway at pinagbintangang ninanakaw daw tax nila. Sige nga, let's try to have a healthy discussion about regionalism in the country. I'm Bisaya, raised in Cebu City but have roots in Cebu Province. I'm a city boy, but I've always felt connected to rural life, nuclear and extended family, and traditional Cebuano culture governs much of our family's daily life. We are a progressive, booming city, but always just an afterthought to Metro Manila. Our industries are booming, investments are up, and we're generally just on the rise. I always feel I'll be okay here. I will be able to live, and I'll be able to thrive. But you know what just lurks somewhere behind my mind? That we will never have the same leverage in decision-making and policy crafting. That I could have had a better education in UST, UP, Ateneo, or DLSU. That I could have lived in a community with an even more thriving art and culture scene. That I could have had a closer network with the pioneers of my field of study. Kasi I have to work extra hard pa just to break through my local community and hopefully be noticed by the change makers based in Manila. That I will never have the same standard of living as an upper middle class Manileño despite having relatively the same resources. All because I don't live in NCR and I choose not to. If everybody else in the country had access to the same institutions in the capital, tingin nyo, hindi mas marami ang enlightened? Hindi mas marami ang averse to misinformation? Hindi mas marami ang mulat? Metro Manila, I'm sure that's the point of OP's map anyway, controls this country, creates the roadmap for this country, steers this country, and reaps the majority of the economy's gifts. Cebu City and Davao probably will always just fall short of Metro Manila. Our kind of government is not friendly to inclusive growth. Far-fetched ba masyado gusto ko mangyari? Okay, third world tayo. We only have room for one world-class growth center. Pero wag tayong magreklamo if this setup continues to alienate much of our country. Yan na ang mindset ko na from Cebu City ako ha. You think it's better for someone in the small towns of Zamboanga, the coastal communities of Samar, the remote areas of Panay? I'm not saying these regions or cities produce second-class citizens, but it's hard not to feel like one when Metro Manila comes into the picture. Yan ang ugat ng regionalism sa bansang to. We don't have the same opportunities. But here's the thing. The national government and its legislatures and policymakers are not restricted as all Tagalogs. Heck, you can even say it was Ilocanos during Marcos and in Pidut's case, his subculture who wielded more leverage. And still, how do provincianos vote? Who do they send to the Congress and to the executive cabinets as a pool for candidates? Trapos, provincial political dynasties who just perpetuate the process. Kaya I take special pride that my congressional district in Camarines Sur was able to supplant the Villafuertes for several election cycles now. It's because the money comes from Luzon. Iilang regions lang ang may positive cash flow dito sa Pilipinas. So natural na most projects would focus on improving that region pero majority ng pera ng Luzon is binibigay din sa rest of the country. Also, don't forget that each region should at least have a responsibility to develop themselves. Blaming it all on Luzon is just laziness. Marami ditong lugar na under ng mga political dynasty na sila pa ang humahadlang sa development ng lugar nila. Kaya nga it goes back to the opportunities available. Ang obtuse nung thinking na regions should improve themselves or cut Luzon some slack. If we had incredible amazing education like in NCR available in Vismin, it would be very different, which leads to students migrating to the capital, finding work there, and just building on the existing institutions in Luzon or Metro Manila. Iwasan na siguro natin yung ganyang outlook, ang exclusionist masyado, with a tinge of mata pobre. What do you think about the topic discussed in this video? Feel free to drop your opinions in the comment section below. Please support this channel by liking and sharing this video. Videos will be uploaded multiple times a week, so for more content like this, please subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next episode.